Korea is due to hold general elections on April 15 that will determine the shape of the National Assembly for the next 4 years. These elections come at an unprecedented time for the world amid the coronavirus epidemic, and Korea, which has been praised globally for its thorough monitoring and response to the outbreak, has been getting international attention as it prepares to show how democracy can function even amid a pandemic. On Thursday, the government announced how it will be staging voting procedures for all of its 253 constituencies nationwide on Election Day, in line with strict sanitary guidelines. All voters will be required to wear face masks indoors while they are voting. To enter a voting station, voters will have their temperature checked by National Election Commission workers. After passing the initial screening, voters will be required to sanitize their hands and wear disposable plastic gloves in order to mark their ballots. If a voter fails to pass the temperature test, he or she will be asked to use a special voting station. After a voter uses the station, it will be disinfected for the next person. People will also be required to maintain a 1 meter distance from one another as they queue up to vote in order to minimize contact. Early voting will also be possible from April 10th to 11th, and the same safety measures will apply on those dates. For overseas constituents, voting already began on Wednesday, April 1st, and will continue until Monday, April 6th. The measures outlined by the government are already being applied for approximately 86,000 eligible overseas voters. But around 90,000 people living in places heavily affected by the virus outbreak, such as Italy, France, and some areas in the United States, will not be able to cast their ballots this year because of the risks involved in setting up voting areas. Extraordinary measures are also being considered to allow people who have been infected with the virus in Korea and those who are under quarantine to exercise their right to vote. One such measure under review is an early voting system at special stations to be created at quarantine and treatment facilities. As of now, 16 government-designated facilities are being operated nationwide for patients in less critical conditions, but voting stations will be opened at only some of them, since it is realistically impossible to make such accommodations at all stations, according to the National Election Commission. It remains to be seen how effective these measures will be in protecting Korean voters on Election Day. If successful, Korea's actions could very well serve as an example as to how democracy can work under a pandemic.